Heavenly Father, we ask that you give us your wisdom and your grace in everything that we do. Please give us the confidence that prior meetings we've made the right decision for all the students involved in our district. Let's please watch over the families. We know there are some very close to us within this room that need your healing, need your prayers, and especially for their families. Please wrap your arms around them and just keep them close to you when they are experiencing hard times. And please let them know that sometimes the difficult times are the ones that you put us through to make us even better. We pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Please address the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I will entertain a motion to accept our agenda
So moved.
Second.
or adopt our agenda. Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Good morning, everybody. We're gonna try and knock this out. Mr. Huber, are you ready with your presentation? All right. We will start with our superintendent. It says superintendent's highlights.
It does.
It does.
There's no wonderful presentations other than Mrs. Lake and her accompaniment.
highlight.
There we go. All right, so we're gonna jump over that one.
She's my highlight.
The highlight this morning, Miss Lake. Come on down.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So today we are here to present the final bank selection for the proposed bond refunding initiative, which follows our tradition of reviewing and refunding debt approximately every 10 years for this bond. Our financial advisors, Will Reed and Jerry Ford from Ford & Associates, were the ones to guide us through the financial structure and benefits of this refunding opportunity. We also utilized legal advisors during this process from Bryant Miller and Olive, Destiny Young, who is here, and Jason Breath, who bring deep experience to this process. Bryant Miller Olive served as our legal advisors during our last bond refunding in 2015, and we're pleased again to have Ms. Young with us today for the closing after. This refunding will involve pledging revenues derived from the state of Florida's sales tax, which are distributed annually to our district under a Florida statute special act. While some refer to the bonds as racetrack revenues, I know we still do, I want to emphasize that the revenues we are pledging have no connection to gambling. This terminology persists due to the historic nature of the special act that predates statutory changes in 2000. At this time, I'll hand over the podium to our financial advisor, Will Reed from Ford & Associates, to review aspects of the bond refunding process and bank selection.
Wonderful. Thank you. Good morning. Yeah, it turns out that the change from being racetrack revenue back to being sales tax backed actually played a pretty big role in this bidding process. When we went out, we solicited, I believe, somewhere in the range of 50 to 55 banks to go through and look to have them come in and put in proposals. I do want to make a point of mentioning that you do have two local banks that both did put in for this loan. Unfortunately, neither one of them were selected, but they did go through and put forward the balance sheet, and particularly given the financial times I'm sure you've seen, we really appreciate that they stepped up and were willing to go through and lend you money. Webster Bank ended up putting in the lowest bid at a 4.69%. They are lending you money over the full 20-year term, which is very important because that goes through and helps keep the annual cost down at a manageable level. They also give us the ability to go through and prepay that loan, which is important as well, because we'll go through and be able to pay attention to the interest rate environment and look to potentially go through and refinance this for savings at some point in the future. Going through, you did receive 4 bids: Webster, Seacoast, Capital One Public Finance, and Capital City Bank. Of those, 3 put in for the full 20 years, with Webster providing the lowest cost and the most advantageous terms and conditions. I'm here to answer any questions if anybody has any on the process or the bond issue on its own.
You said they can prepay, but there's no prepayment penalty.
So the first 5 years are non-prepayable, and then there is a slight prepayment penalty that declines down to no prepayment penalty in, I believe, year 8.
Thank you.
Yep. So traditionally, this is something that is done every 10 years or so. As you're seeing here, the original issue was done in 2015, so we're 10 years on. So at that point, there would be no prepayment penalty.
And the legal fees, that's something, I guess each bank has different ones that they assessed, and they were one of the cheaper ones to Webster.
Exactly, and in our analysis, we went through and included the legal fees in looking at the differentials in the all-in total cost that you would go through and achieve. So those were taken into account.
If you refinance, you said, with a more favorable interest rate environment, would you go back out to bid, or how would it go? How would the process work?
Yes, we'd go back out to bid.
Okay.
This is a piece that it would only be done if there's savings. It was important to go through and lock this in for the full 20 years. Some of the banks came through and gave a 20-year rate, but had what they call a 10-year put, which would mean that at 10 years, you have to go back out and refinance it,
Okay.
whether you want to or not. By going through and having the locked in 20 years, it puts the ball in your court.
Okay.
So you can go out if you choose, but
If
you
you-
do not have to.
Gotcha. Good. Thank you.
Any other questions? On this? All right. So do we need to make a motion now? We need a motion now to approve this recommendation.
So moved.
So, second, any more questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for being here this morning. I know the time was changed on you, so appreciate
It's my pleasure.
it very much.
Very good job. You done? That quick? That was a
Oh,
highlight.
resolution, sorry. You need to-
Okay. Okay, I thought you were gonna bring that up to it. But that's okay. If y'all look at resolution 25-07, we need a motion to adopt that resolution.
I so moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to adopt the resolution. All those in favor, if there are no questions, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Lake. It was the highlight. And you're supporting. All right, we will now move on to back to our superintendent. Item 8.
Okay. We are back to the FSBA Advocacy Committee member and alternate that the board decides yearly. So this will be for the 25-26 school year. And I think
I'm willing to give it up.
you're gonna, right now.
If that was your question. I know it's kind of a transition, I think, before, when
I
we
was
did
going
it.
to say the veteran school board members probably have served in that role.
Yeah.
Primarily, what FSBA does, for an example, going down to the conference today, for the rest of the week, they have what they call little committee meetings, and when you sit on the advocacy committee, you probably go to a little brief meeting and hear about what you can do better as a liaison and your role to be that good talking person between FSBA, your board, bring things back to the board that you hear at the committee meetings through FSBA. So that's all that entails.
Yeah. You kind of put together, you work on the little, like,
Packet.
one-pager packet for like.
Packets.
Mhm. Some of that stuff, some Zoom conference calls and different stuff like that, most of it.
But it's nothing that will take you away for an extra training or extra days to stay overnight anywhere or more travel time. So we need a nomination for
Are there any volunteers?
Yeah, there you go.
the person and the alternate.
Well, I nominate Ashley to be the member, since Devin's stepping down and she was alternate.
Are you good with that?
I was gonna say, you didn't want it last time, but you
Yeah,
had a
I
senior.
know, yeah.
That's why I
That's not the way I
did it.
thought it was gonna go. Are either of you, Lisa or Linda, would you guys wanna do it?
Would you want to, Linda?
I would serve as the alternate if you'll serve as the.
I really think y'all can do both. If y'all wanted to.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine? All right, so we have a nomination of Ms. Clemency as primary and Ms. Campbell as our alternate. Any more nominations? Seeing none, nominations cease. For lack of other nominations, congratulations. All right. Now we are open for our public comments. Would anybody like to address the board at this time? Seeing none, we're going to move on to the approval of the minutes. Y'all all have a copy of the minutes. Has everybody had a chance to look over that? I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting.
So moved.
Motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now, we move to our consent agenda. Ms. Campbell, you have any questions or comments on the consent agenda?
I don't. I do not have any questions.
Mrs. Baxter?
All my questions were answered.
Mr. Whitehurst?
All my questions answered. We got a lot of, obviously this time of year, a lot of movement, for sure. But, you know, it's like I said, it's a new year, turnover kind of stuff, and just excited for, see what summer and then going into next school year. So, everything was answered. Thank you.
All my questions were answered.
Very good. I don't really have any questions. I'm fascinated that Mr. Lott with his 25 hours. That's gonna be a lot of stress, buddy. You got a lot to do in 25 hours,
That's kind of my fault, same thing.
okay? Don't mean your workload's any less. It's just-
He's getting paid.
Paying you for 25, still expecting about 80. All right, I will entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further questions, any comments? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We will now move on to the finance agenda, finance consent agenda. Does anyone have any questions on that? Has all that been explained well? We have the key finance person here today, so if you have
Front row.
a question. If there are none, I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to adopt the finance consent agenda. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Motion carries. Madam Superintendent, your comments, please, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will start by saying thank you to Mr. Lott for keeping those 25 hours.
Yes.
Since I've taken on this role, Mr. Lott has been instrumental in his guidance and his support of me, and that speaks volumes. And probably sometimes when I walked out of his office, he probably just shook his head. And that's okay. I've learned a lot from him in an incredible short amount of time. So, and I'm very happy that he agreed to stay part-time for a little while longer. However much longer we can have you is a blessing, and that's how I feel. I know we normally have schools and so forth that come and present, and I've kept track of a little file and I've taken some phone calls, and these are things I don't think that would come before you, but I wanted to make you aware, and I wanted to read a little shout out that goes to different areas of our district, and I think it's very special and that they should be acknowledged. So the first one, it said, I wanted to take a moment to recognize someone who consistently goes above and beyond, Logan Malden. Logan has always been incredibly helpful. No matter what I need, he is quick to respond, quick to fix what he can, and always does so with a positive attitude. His efficiency and willingness to help truly makes a difference, and I feel our county office is so blessed to have someone with his working knowledge with our IT office. I wanted to read that. I also received a phone call a couple weeks ago from a parent, and she wanted to do a shout out 2 times for this bus driver, Miss Tracy O'Halley. Am I pronouncing that right? Haley? Okay, she had bus 1903. This parent received a phone call when it was dropping off their child in their driveway, and the bus driver noticed that a vehicle was odd. So before they let that student get off the bus, they literally picked up their phone and called the parent and said, hey, before I let so-and-so off, I just want to make sure that this vehicle is someone that you know is at your house or what have you. So that happened twice, and just kudos to that bus driver for having that recognition and just calling and asking. Very simple thing to do, but I wanted them to be noticed. And I know the transitions are taking place, and they have, and some admin has reached out, and they're doing great. There was a wonderful admin meeting Mrs. Lewis and others worked so hard on that was represented on June 5th at Chiefland Middle High, and they had welcoming arms, right, Mrs. Lewis? So it was a wonderful experience. I was able to attend. Unfortunately, I had to go to Miami and missed that June 5th, but I was able to attend the Commissioner's Summit, and it was on post-secondary information. A couple things that I shared with district yesterday. We'll see where that goes. But it was very nice to meet the incoming commissioner, and he seems to be just as big of a spirit as the outgoing, Mr. Manny Diaz. And it was some good information. It was nice to sit and be around the university presidents and to be around all the other superintendents at the same time. But next year, I already told them down there, we're gonna make sure it doesn't fall on that workshop day. Or maybe I'll get a pass. Thank you, that's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. I will now move to our board comments. Madam Campbell.
Well, I just wanted to comment about the graduations that I attended. There just was such a, it made me feel the tremendous responsibility that we have as I watched all of those students get ready to graduate and go on their way and thought about what they were going to do in the world. And I'm very proud of Levy County that we do prepare our students. And I am very well aware of the responsibility that we have. The other is we're welcoming Cheryl Allen as our administrator and looking forward to a wonderful year. And I am also looking forward to attending the school board conference and learning more and more about this job.
Excellent. Mrs. Baxter.
Well, I want to echo what Tammy said. We're so glad Mr. Lott is staying with us. Don't want to do without him. The graduations in Levy County, I attended all but one, and they were wonderful. And it's so interesting to see how they're all a little bit different. And I, too, am looking forward to attending the school board conference. That's it.
Mr. Whitehurst.
Ms. Baxter missed the best one in Williston. But, what'd you say? I mean, wait till next year if you go to Williston.
Right.
And I will say I missed the last board meeting because I had 5th grade graduation at Wilson Elementary, and it was longer than the Wilson High School graduation. So I guess we got, I think there was like 200 kids in 5th grade, so we got, I think we get more and more kids in school. It's, I guess that's good. I mean, we're kind of worried about funding, but it feels like every year these more and more graduates, so hopefully everything's kind of balancing out, I guess. But, so looking forward to, at least in Wilson. I say, FFA conference the next week. We have a couple of teams from Williston competing for state, so looking forward to that. And I said, got a lot of changes. We got 3 new principals at Williston, across the board. So a lot of change, but I think, change is scary, but it can be exciting too, So just looking forward to what what it all brings out. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Mrs. Lindsay?
I want to echo what everyone said about Mr. Lott. Also, I'm glad you're sticking around with us a little bit longer. And graduations were wonderful. I did one because I had a senior in a busy time of year, but I always love at graduations when you see kids that have been expelled walk across the stage and they've done it all right and corrected the, you know, whatever they've done in the past. So that's always a good feeling. And lots of transitions. Everybody seems to be on their toes right now, but that's not a bad thing. Still moving parts, I know, but I think we're going in the right direction for sure. And I look forward to spending time with everyone at the conference as well.
Minus the midterms.
Thank you. I'm not looking forward to going to the conference, so I'm not going. But, hey, before we go any further, Mr. Lott, where'd you go to high school? All right.
Bravo.
Y'all know it.
Those
Okay.
eagles soar.
There was a whole
Okay.
meeting where you bring it
When
out.
he's gone, what am I gonna do? Because we got McClellan. No, I echo multiple things that have been said here today. It's been a great thing. Not going to the conference. Y'all handle all that for us. FFA, state conventions next week will be a good time. Lots of Levy County students getting recognized. And be careful on your trip with the safety patrol. That's coming up. Big times there. And also, I will say this to all daddies out there because, okay, I don't know anybody else's feelings. This is Cameron Asbell's feelings. We see these expulsion hearings, and I'm sure you guys that have been in administration have seen this. The world needs more daddies. And Father's Day is coming up, and a lot of times there's kids that come here on the expulsions. Ain't no daddy there, so it's great to see a daddy. So happy Father's Day early to everybody. And now, I do have a question. Do not read into this question, okay? Really. It's not that deep a thought. It was asked of me, and I said, I have no idea, so I'm going to ask. Do we drug test our employees, and how often? Do we randomly do it? This was asked of me, and I was like, I'm sure we do, but
When they're hired.
Pre-employment,
we do.
yeah.
We do when they're hired.
do not read into this. This doesn't mean anything. It was just asking me.
You're scaring me, but okay.
No.
No, we do it when they're first hired.
Uh-huh.
We do not randomly drug screen anyone unless they are driving a bus.
Okay.
And those are random and we rely on so it's not like Joe's pulling names out of a hat. We have a system that we do that. But those are the only ones we randomly drug screen.
Okay. Don't, Kaylee, don't read into it. It was just asking me, and I was like, I'll ask. So, anyway, that's all I have. If there's no further business, meeting's adjourned.